Good morning, everyone. We were discussing the financial decisions. We've already discussed investment decisions and financing decisions. Moving on to the next one, which is dividend decisions. Before discussing dividend decisions, we must know the meaning of dividend. Students, we all know that equity shareholders are the owners of the company. The interest they get, it is termed as dividend. Interest is paid to debenture holders or the creditors of the company, but owners have the right on the profit of the company. So that part of profit which is given to the equity shareholders is called dividend. The part of profit which is given to the equity shareholders is called dividend. Now, how much dividend should be given to them? This is a big question. All the profit that is earned by the company cannot be given as dividend. Some has to be retained by the company, right? So that decision is dividend decision. Dividend decision involves deciding the amount of profit to be distributed among the shareholders. How much out of profit should be given to the shareholders and how much should be retained by the company for investment opportunities in the future. This basically involves two questions. This dividend decision involves two questions. Number one, how much amount of the profit to be given to the shareholders and how much amount of the profit to be retained by the company for investment opportunities. Now, dividend decision has to be very carefully taken because it definitely depends upon the expectations of the shareholders. And apart from that, what are the investment opportunities available for you? If you have more investment opportunities, profitable investment opportunities in front of you, then you will be retaining more and distributing less. But if less investment opportunities are available, then you can take the decision accordingly. Moreover, good dividend policy enhances the market value of the share. We know that overall objective or the basic and the primary objective of financial management is to maximize the wealth of shareholders. That means is to maximize the market value of the shares. And one of the reasons through which market value of the shares can be improved is paying good dividends to the shareholders. So if you're paying good dividend to the shareholders, it will definitely help in increasing the market value of the shares. So decision regarding dividend should be taken keeping in view the overall objective of financial management, which is maximizing shareholders' wealth. Again, students, there are many things that a financial manager has to take into consideration before taking this very crucial financial management decision, which is dividend decision. He has to take into consideration the expectations of the shareholders, investment opportunities available, and many more things while taking this dividend decision of how much profit to be distributed and how much profit to be reinvested in the business or retained in the business. Some of the factors we'll be discussing now. The very first factor that we'll be discussing is earnings. Dividend is paid out of current and previous earnings of the business. If the company has good earnings, it will be paying higher dividends. If the company is having less earnings, it will be paying dividends at lower rate. Very simple. The next is stability of earnings. If the company is having stable and regular earnings, okay, if it is regularly getting good earnings and they are stable, then the company can afford to pay higher dividends. But if the earnings of the company are irregular, they're not stable, some years it is high, some years it is low, then the company should not take the risk of paying higher dividends because the next year it may not be able to continue with the same trend. Therefore, Stability of earnings is also one of the most important concerns, that if the earnings are regular and stable, you can pay higher dividends. If they are not stable and regular, the company should not pay higher dividends. The next one is stability of dividends. Some companies follow stable dividend policies because they satisfy the shareholders more. Shareholders are more satisfied when they are getting the same amount of dividend or maybe similar amount of dividend every year, rather than getting 8% some year and 20% the other year. They may not be satisfied with that kind of policy. So you have to carefully examine the stability of dividends also, that what has been the dividends that you are paying for the previous years and what you can continue in the coming years, and accordingly you will be paying the dividend. The next one is growth opportunities. If the company is a new concern or it has many growth or investment opportunities in future, then the company would be retaining more and paying less dividends. But if the company is not having more growth opportunities in the coming future, then the company can take the risk of paying higher dividends to the shareholders. The next one is cash flow position. We know that payment of dividend involves outflow of cash. If the company is having good cash flow position, strong cash flow position, then it can afford to pay higher dividends. But if there is shortage of cash in the company, the cash flow position is not sound enough, then in that case, definitely the company has to pay less dividends. Apart from that, there is shareholders' preference. Shareholders' preference. If the company is having more old, retired or poor shareholders, they usually prefer regular dividends, stable dividends and a higher rate of dividend, because their earning is through dividends only. So in that case, the company will be paying higher dividends. But if the company is having more shareholders who are rich, who are young, who are ready to take the risk, in that case, the company can declare lesser amount of dividend, because those shareholders are interested more in capital gain. That means they believe that the market value of the share should be increased. They are not more interested in dividends, they are more interested in capital gain, they are more interested in increased market value of the share. So accordingly, the company should take the decision whether they have to pay higher dividend or lower dividend. Next is taxation policy. We already know that dividend distribution tax is levied on companies. That means we have to pay tax on the dividend that we are paying to the shareholders. So students, if the distribution tax is of a high rate, then the companies prefer to pay less dividends so that less tax is paid by them. If the dividend distribution tax is on lower rates, it's not very high, then the company can pay higher dividends. So taxation policy also decides whether higher dividends should be paid or lesser dividends should be paid. Next is stock market reaction, which is very important. Students, we already know that the basic objective of financial management is maximizing the wealth of shareholders by increasing the market value of shares, right? Now, dividend distribution and market value of equity shares, they are directly related to each other. That means dividend distribution has direct impact on the market price of equity shares. If the company pays higher dividends, it has very good impact on the market price of the shares. And if the company is paying lower dividends, then in that case, it has adverse effect on the market price of the equity shares. So this should be very carefully analyzed before taking this dividend decision. Next is access to capital market. Students, whenever need arises, a company has to resort to a capital market to raise funds. Okay, if the company does not have sufficient retained earnings, it will be going to the capital market to get the money, to get arrange debt, etc. So if a company is financially strong and financially independent, it has good access to capital market, then in that case it can fearlessly declare higher dividends and retain less money, because even if there is any emergency or any growth opportunity in front of the company, it can raise money from the capital market very easily. But if a company does not have a strong capital market base, it is not financially sound, then in that case the company should retain more money and declare less dividends, because obviously it does not have good or strong access to the capital market. Next is legal constraints. Legal constraints which is enforced by the law. We all know that every company has to declare dividend keeping in view the provisions of Companies Act 2013. And according to Companies Act 2013, a company has to provide for all the necessary statutory reserves and provide for depreciation on the assets, and only after that whatever amount of profit is remained by the company with the company, that can be distributed as dividends to the shareholders. So obviously legal constraints are there. Companies provisions must be thoroughly studied, and all the deductions should be made out of profit, and then dividend declaration should be done. Finally, contractual constraints. Contractual constraints. Students, legal means complying with the law, which is Companies Act, and contractual means complying with the contracts that have been signed by the company. Whenever a company raises money through external sources, like from financial institutions or through debt or through borrowed fund, then the company has to get into contracts. Okay, many contracts and many creditors, they put restrictions on the company's payment of dividend. So those contractual constraints should be carefully studied, and accordingly dividend should be paid. The payment of dividend should not violate the terms and conditions of the lender or whatever has been written in the contract. Finally, there are some important questions which can be asked from the topic that we have discussed today. What type of dividend policy should be followed by a company having growth opportunities? It's very simple. If the company is having growth opportunities, it will be paying less dividends and retaining more amount of money, because it will need that money for meeting future growth opportunities. So this is called conservative dividend policies. Two types of dividend policies are there. Conservative means you are conserving, you're retaining more money, you are paying less dividends. Okay, and liberal dividend policy means you are paying higher dividends and you are retaining less money, less profit. So out of conservative and liberal, this is obviously conservative because you pay less dividends. Next is, apart from government, no one else can impose restrictions on payment of dividend by the company. No, it's not true. It's not only government. It is the contracts also, the lenders also, those who have lend money to the company, they can also put legal constraints on the company and contractual constraints on the company. So in this case, you will be explaining contractual constraints. Students, this is all for today. For any query, you can definitely comment on the comment section, and you can email me with your queries and the questions, and see you the next time with Capital Structure.